Buhari federal government feeling the heat of the economic recession as some top members of the ruling party ask for the sack of president's team. We'll find out what the government is doing to set us on the road to recovery. Thank you so much for staying with us, everyone. That's going to be our major focus for tonight. But again, we'll be looking as we count down to the Edo State governorship election. Major contenders in the race are speaking about their programs as Channel Television took them up exclusively. I will be giving you some sound bites from the interviews that we've had with them, at least two today on this edition of the program. Where should we begin from? Okay, let's start by serving you with some of the top political stories that we're covering at this time.
Political roundup on Channel Television. Here are your top political stories this time.
The Cross River State Governor, Mr. Ben Ayade, says he sees a brighter future for Nigeria despite the current recession. Governor Ayade says this is the time for Nigerians to think and go beyond the scope of their normal lifestyles and focus on reconstructing a new economy. He adds that at a time such as this, only quality ideas can survive a society challenged and threatened by economic downturn.
When society gets stretched by economic downturn, that is when the intellect and the best of everybody comes out.
And as the countdown to the September the 10th Edo governorship election draws closer, supporters of the All Progressives Congress in the state converged on the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium for the party's final mega campaign in a show of solidarity for their flag bearer, Mr. Godwin Obaseki. It was a beehive of activity at the campaign venue, as President Muhammadu Buhari, who was part of the dignitaries in attendance, joined other leaders of the party to extol the virtues of the APC candidate. The president used the opportunity to call for the continued support of the Edo people to make Nigeria great again.
We are going to make Nigeria great again.
Meanwhile, the bickering between the APC-led Kwara state government and the People's Democratic Party in the state has taken a turn for the worse, with the latest development of the state government reporting the opposition party to the Nigerian police for what it calls efforts to incite the public against the government through unsubstantiated allegations of fraud. In the meantime, the PDP accuses the All Progressives Congress of trying to stifle the voice of opposition. The state government, however, believes that criticizing the government is different from unduly inciting the public.
There was a complaint against some members of PDP in the state, and the police has to invite them.
The government is intolerant of opposition. They are intolerant. They don't want us to exist.
And you're up to date. Those are your top political stories you need to know.
Thank you so much for staying with us, everyone. Well, many people are still talking about the Edo State governorship debate as hosted by Channel Television and partnered with Enough is Enough Nigeria. A whole lot of issues came up on that stage where four candidates were talking about their program. We'll be looking forward to some of these issues in the days to come as we approach the election day. But today, the President, Muhammadu Buhari, attended what may be APC's last campaign before the election. It was another opportunity for the leaders of the party to canvass for vote and at some times also score points for their candidates. But Channel Television had a one-on-one interview with some of the major candidates in the race. Over the next few days before the election, we will be showing you some of the interviews. Tonight, we will show you two of the candidates. First, the candidates of the PDP. In this exclusive, Mr. Osage Ize-Iyamu talks to us about the programs of the party and, of course, talked about the opposition, well, the ruling party in the state, the APC. Take a listen.
The very first time that you want to be the governor of Edo State. Why do you want to be the governor of Edo State?
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. This is the first time I'm contesting. People have always speculated about me running for office, but honestly, this is the first time. I've not contested before. So this is my first time. And why am I contesting? Apart from being qualified to contest, I'm very passionate about this state. I've always lived here, and I'm not satisfied with the situation in the state. I believe that the state has not fared well, that we have a lot of resources, we have a lot of manpower, but leadership, especially in the past few years, have been lacking. I believe that if we have a more visionary leadership in our state, Edo State can be a lot greater than it is today.
Listen, when you say that leadership is lacking in Edo State, one will be wondering, you were part of the structure that brought in the leadership, current leadership in Edo State. You were part of that man, how he emerged as the governor of Edo State. In my history, is not embedded in me. What do you mean exactly? Is there something went wrong, or your judgment at that time looks now faulty?
Well, yes, you'll be right if you say my judgment at that time was faulty, but honestly, the premise on which he came was one. The senatorial district where he comes from, Edo North, they have never had a civilian governor, so that was a major consideration. Then the second one was, he was president of NLC, and we assumed or thought that, considering that background, he would be pro-masses, he would be able to attract a lot of things to our state, and he would be able to improve on the lot of our people. So there were assumptions that we had, but down the road it became clear that all that glitter is not gold, and that we made a mistake. I was reluctant to leave because you don't build a house and want to live it, but by the time I waited and the second term came and things were getting worse, it was clear to me that it was all a mistake, and I needed to take my exit with apologies, which I did. You know, if you look at the state and look at critical sectors, you will understand when I say leadership has been lacking. You know, the government is not focused, the government has no direction, the government has no blueprint. Critical areas, agriculture, industries, housing, sports, tourism, totally abandoned or not even attended to. And then even the areas they talk about, is it education, is it the health sector, the statistics, quite shameful.
So for you, the Oshomole government is a failure?
To a large extent, yes, especially when you consider the huge amount that's come to them in the past 7.5 years and the expectation. They have not moved the state forward.
No credit at all to that government in the past 7 years or so?
Well, at the beginning, there was a lot of ovation. You know, the first 4 years, you know, offered a lot of promise, and that was the basis on which he was re-elected. But the second term appears to be a disaster. You know, he just went to sleep. Whatever he's talking about now, projects he conceived and started in the first term, the second term has been a total disaster. And then, of course, when somebody starts a project, you are hesitant to begin to criticize. You want to see how well it will go. So for some of us, you know, we are very slow to criticize. But when a man is almost at the end of his tenure, if the manifestation of his destination is not clear, then something is wrong. And down the road, you cannot look at the government and say, have they really done well?
So you regret helping him become governor?
I regret it deeply. It was a mistake.
And that is the reason why you want to be governor too?
No, not only that, but it's part of it. I was saying somewhere today that it's very frustrating. You help people to get to government and you see them govern the state. You see a lot of things going wrong. It's very frustrating. And of course, invariably, people will blame you. You know, you are one of those who brought this government. Look at what they are doing. And quite honestly, in terms of unemployment, in terms of jobs and their costing, in terms of pensioners and their plight, in terms of local government administration, in terms of farmers and women empowerment, the whole place is in a mess.
That's Mr. Osage Ize-Iyamu. More on that in the coming days. We'll be showing you more of those interviews. Well, we go on a short break. My guest is already standing by to talk to us on the economic recession. We'll be right back. Join us again.